Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're doing this in progress from Steve Razanak, thank you Steve, and nice name. The Hey Cap, can you analyse this JF17 Dogfight as well? That I've got two video links, so let's go and do the two video links wherever they are. Here they are, third dogfight scene from, this is from a movie called Sher Dil, 2019, so it should be good. And we've got another one down here. Let's go. I've already watched the first minute or so. I'll just skip.
Returning to base.
First thing we see is we've got two guys here. I don't know the backstory, but they're flying with a very odd loadout of 2 fuel tanks, which is normal, but 4 Sidewinder equivalents. I know they're not actual Sidewinders, but they're the Chinese equivalent. I've never seen a loadout like this before on a plane. I don't know what it could be for, because you've got no medium range missiles, but okay, we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm just going to skip to the action.
Wait, I've got a missile lock. On the scope, 6 o'clock.
So, we didn't have any radar warning, so this is either bullshit or an IR guided missile, and it is going to be an IR guided missile because I've already looked ahead. This here is their interpretation of an NWS, a missile warning system, which picks up the heat generated by the missile and gives them a warning in terms of azimuth from usually behind where it's coming. So this, we don't think this is the one on the real JF17. We have the Block 1/Block 1.5 JF17 in DCS, and it looks completely different from this. But the idea, at least, either this is later block of JF17 with a different MWS, which could be true, I don't know, I've got no way of knowing, or this is make-believe, but either way, this is, this is all very possible so far, so we'll go with it so far.
I see it. Sher Dil is tracking.
We've got from a hostile plane, a cleaner up. We've got an IR Mika. The Mika comes in 2 flavors, the IR sensor or a radar sensor. This is an IR, and that explains how the hostiles, it's going to be from a Mirage. The Mirages have snuck up to the JF-17s without the radar on, hence there was nothing to warn the GFs that the Mirages were coming. We're presuming that there is no GCI radar type coverage control in this area, so this must be a place where there's no other radar coverage. They've snuck up behind these guys, which is completely plausible, possible, and even likely, really. They've fired a missile here. It's on burn at the moment. Now, remember, these missiles don't burn for very long, around 10 seconds or something like that. And there is the IR Seeker Head, an intelligent modern IR Seeker Head. Anything you want to add to that, RC?
Nope.
Okay, so let's send that forward.
Break!
Tiny criticism is I would imagine they would drop their tanks before braking, but I forget to do that all the time. They're flaring, which is exactly what they should do. I don't know if that's automatic or pilot driven. I can't remember, but it could very well be automatic.
It's still on me.
Note that the missile engine is still burning on the missile, which means either the Mirage is fired very close or they've got magic engines.
Here it comes.
As we all know, the first thing you should do when a missile is fired at you in almost every circumstance is go down. So wiggling around up here, especially with the fuel tanks on, is obviously death sentence. Note how the missile is not a missile anymore, it's now a torpedo. So if you imagine a torpedo in the water, it's big, heavy, cumbersome, lots of inertia, not much power. And so it will follow a boat, a ship that it's chasing like this. It will overshoot and it will slowly catch up at a rate of about 5 knots, or well, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe up to about 20 knots maximum, a bit like this. So it's now a torpedo. It's no longer an airborne missile at all. However, a torpedo looks much sexier in films because this guy can go and do his James Bond stuff and fly around, and this magical missile that now weighs 4 tons like a torpedo will swish about side to side and slowly catch him up. Much sexier than real life.
It's close. It's coming around.
Torpedo.
Losing speed.
He has indeed run out of kinetic energy.
Heading for the deck.
Should have done that at the beginning, and he's still got his fuel tanks on. Torpedo.
Ditching fuel tanks.
Note how he ditched them when he was straight and level. Well, not level, but straight, which is realistic. They've hit the ground and blown up. Now, we've had lots of argument about this, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. If you guys check out the review of the behind enemy lines, a couple of guys linked actual fuel tanks being dropped on the ground at low speed, about 120 knots, and they immediately exploded. I went over the reasons in behind enemy lines why they would explode. Not going to go through it anymore. And the Mika went for that. Would that happen in real life? Honestly, no idea. No one will probably ever know because no one will be able to test it. But sure, why not? At least that explains why Pakistani James Bond waited to drop his fuel tanks, although in real life he'd be dead by now. But torpedo missile, it's okay.
Yes.
So the Mirages have got on number 2's tail, which is completely possible. He's still got his fuel tanks on, which is a complete death sentence for this guy. I don't know why he's doing it. Just doesn't want to drop those fuel tanks. Very conservative. With this fuel, it says in a gunfight, the Mirage is gunning him. It looks all very cool, and I've got no problems with that at all.
I got 2 on my tail. I have you on line. Get ahead. Coming to you. What? Not again?
Another missile.
I have another missile. Put on my 6.
Take a note that the MWS in this case showed distance as well as azimuth. Now, I don't actually know of any MWSs that show distance as well as azimuth. That's not to say that they don't exist. It's just that I've never seen one. You can see if you remember the last one was outside this zone, this threat zone or whatever. I don't know what it is. This one's closer. So this one as well as azimuth shows distance as well. I'll leave it there.
Another missile. Put on my 6. I have another idea. Van, stay on your current heading. I'm bringing the missile. Yonder, the maneuver we practiced. What? That's your plan? Trust me, Van. Copy that chair there. These guys are right behind me.
Ooh, let's have a look at these Mirages if we can. Might be hard to freeze frame them, but we'll see. They've got... I think they look like radar-guided Mekas. However, I may be wrong there. I really can't tell what they are. They look a bit small for that. Interestingly, they're going through Dogfight in the canyon, and they've got their fuel tanks on as well. I mean, well, okay, fair enough. Otherwise, I can't tell anything about that, so let's carry on.
In visual. Steady. Steady. Now.
Now, that is cool. That's like Matrix for aeroplanes, right? And the Mika goes between them, which is cool. That's also cool. Boom! Boom, and it hits the Mirage in the face. Now, the only problem is I can't see any reason why that missile would do that and not just follow the guy with the afterburner. There is literally no reason in physics I can think of that. Unless I'm missing something here. What do you think, RC?
I think that that missile would have been locked onto the heat of his engine rather than the cold nose.
Yeah, I mean that Mirage is putting the Mirage is putting heat out, but very little. This guy's got his afterburners on, and he's presenting his engine to the missile. He's much hotter signature. I just can't see any reason why this missile wouldn't hit this guy. It doesn't make any sense. Also, it looks like it's so close that it would set the radio fuse or the laser fuse or whatever it is off anyway. But we'll just ignore that.
Right.
But yeah,
I can't ignore that.
You're not going to ignore that. Also, look at the size of this missile, RC. Now, I don't know anything about a Mika, but because we don't have them in DCS and I haven't studied them at all, but they're not much bigger than a Sidewinder. Are they really that small? Maybe they are. I've seen them in real life, but I didn't really have anything.
3.1 meters.
So that is... Oh, it's almost 9 feet. It sounds actually pretty big to me. Can you find out how long a Sidewinder is, please?
9 feet 11 inches.
Which is 3 meters. So it is indeed the same size as a Sidewinder.
Same size.
So these Mikas then are smaller Sidewinders. How interesting. That's something I didn't know, but interesting. So anyway, and it magically kind of, because it's a big torpedo and it weighs 5 tons and not a missile anymore, it couldn't keep up with this turn. I think that's what they're trying to say. In reality, obviously, there's no reason at all why it wouldn't just go and whack him. And, oh, by the way, look how close it came between them. That would have easily set the fuse off and blown both of these guys full of shrapnel. They'd both be dead and cut in half by now. And there's not much else to say, really. Must be a tiny war. Could you give me a warhead size of the Mika, please? Must be absolutely
warhead
tiny.
Warhead size, 12 kilograms.
Okay, that's... Yeah, 22 pounds.
And it does have proximity
is it laser?
or direct impact.
Well, it won't be direct impact. So it's got proximity that's banged this guy here and a 22-pound fuse. That's the same, 24-pound fuse, the same as what's in a Sidewinder, give or take. So they're tiny little missiles. But again, I guess they're extremely accurate missiles because they're modern. I guess that's what people will come back and say, and I'm sure they're right. Right, bullshit, but that was pretty cool, right? Got twin, 30mm Defers in that Mirage, isn't it, RC? They don't have much ammo. There's only like 125 rounds of ammo each,
yeah,
I think.
It's not much.
Yeah. What is that? His MWS is now showing single bandit. Why was the MWS showing where a bad guy is? I've never seen that before, but okay. I think they're trying to. I think what they're trying to say in Hollywood is that this is some sort of radar, and the radar can magically look backwards. Obviously, it can't. I'm not sure what this is. I've never seen an MWS like this, but this could be a radar lock. We're thinking, couldn't it? But this could be.
This is
I mean, if it's an SA page,
Hollywood gauge.
So yeah, we think it's a Hollywood gauge. RC was saying it might be a situational awareness page, but the thing is, you don't have a situational awareness page if you're in a canyon because you can't hook up to your partner, right? Well, you certainly can't hook up to the partner in this case because the partner can't see that target, and no AWACS could see in there, so it can't be SA. So it must be, I'm guessing, an RWR mixed in with a MWS. I don't know if such a thing exists, but it's weird. Probably a Hollywood gauge. We stand to be corrected, but let's carry on.
1 mile. Roger that. Plan.
Also, he detected how close he was, and there's no way of doing that from the radar, from the guy's radar. There's no way to tell how close that hostile is.
Landed on my own here.
Bearing in mind that our radar only shoots forward in our aircraft; it doesn't shoot backwards. A couple more Mirages with 4 Mikas. Yeah, I can see those missiles much more clearly. They are tiny little things to RC. Never seen them before. How good.
They've seen Sidewinders, so.
And they are more desperate than ever to have a dogfight with their bags on. Look at this. Got to fight with our fuel tanks on. Terrible maneuverability and drag.
Here they go.
Defers are going. It makes them sound like the rate of fire of like a bloody M2 or something. They have much higher rate of fire in real life, don't they? They're like brr, brr, instead of da 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 da
They're
da.
125 rounds, so be quick.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds of fire. I can't remember what it is, but it's very low amount.
Stand by, Sher Dil. We're sending scrambles. Negative. This will be over before they get here. Let's see if you can handle some cheese.
Don't want to ruin your illusion, but yes, they can. Now, interestingly, turn rate of the JF-17, at least in DCS, 21 degrees per second. The turn rate of the Mirage is 20 degrees per second in a rough, same Mach speed band. Power to weight of the JF-17 slightly higher than the Mirage. I think it is.
Sir Junaid made me friends with the sky.
One thing you don't do when you're chasing a dogfight is go up. You will die.
Sher Dil, the Mirage is...
Why did he turn around? He just turned around, RC. It's like, okay, I'm bored now. I didn't want to shoot you with all my missiles or my guns that I could easily have shot you with. I'm just going to go down now. And I still refuse to drop my fuel tank.
Coming around now.
He has our missiles. He could have just shot him out of the sky.
The Mirage didn't think it would be sporting to attack a guy who was going upwards. I think that's what it was all about. Because otherwise he could have destroyed him in 105 different ways.
That's just silly.
And now this guy's got a lock on him.
Positioning for guns.
Using the gun. He's using the gun that is a terrible air-to-air gun, literally just not designed for air-to-air, instead of his missiles, which are designed for rear aspect dogfights. Interesting.
Come on.
He's got 4 of them sitting there.
Oh, he's got him!
Good hit on
He's
the
got him with a 23 mil.
If he's lucky, he'll make it home.
Oh, it's not one of those things where no one can die, is it? No, because that guy died. Doesn't matter.
Bogey, approaching from...
This is a Hollywood scope. I've never seen anything like it. It's like a radar come. You know what this is? This is a Hollywood radar plus RWR plus SA plus MWS. It tells you everything all the time to help the guys who are not aviators, not virtual aviators, understand what's going on. This thing is just not real. It's a magic gauge.
From your 12. Copy that.
It's the Pakistani equivalent to Hollywood.
Now merge. Pretty cool. Pretty cool graphics. It's Indian. Look. I'm guessing it's his father.
It is?
I don't know. I'm not supposed to know. That's pretty cool. I'm going to give it that. That is pretty cool. And I recognised the pilot. I was getting about to get personal, RC. How do you feel about that?
I'm not sure he'd recognize a pilot at 500.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So, say they were just doing about 400, 500 knots each. That's a combined speed of probably around 1,000 knots. In which oh dear, this is not going well. This is not going well. I've spotted a new problem. The Jeff on screen at the moment has accidentally dumped 2 Sidewinders because he certainly hasn't used them. They've fallen off. He must have over-G'd and they fell off.
He over-G'd, yeah. That's what it was.
There we go. Deary me.
Mr. Sher Dil, good to see you in the sky.
So they've somehow found the encrypted radio of the other coalition, and they're allowed to talk to each other.
Never wanted 360 versus 360, man.
Never. What was that? Let's go back and look at that. Never wanted 360 versus 360, man. Anyone know what that means? I don't know what that means.
Oh.
I'm gonna go run with it. I don't know. Maybe it's.
didn't want to go around in circles.
They're doing a turn fight.
Guy is mine.
It's actually a very interesting fight. Mirage versus Jeff-17. They're actually pretty well matched, as we found. Nearly the same turn rate. Various specifics are pretty much the same, so it is an interesting fight.
What are you doing here, Arun? What would you do?
It's beating
if
him.
you were in my position?
I noticed there's no vertical aspect in this fight. It's all been done in one horizontal plane, which is it's very difficult to do, even if you wanted to. I would. He's got this magic pipper that doesn't exist. I think that's a gun pipper. Oh no, it is a gun pipper, isn't it, RC? Do you remember flying this? That is the gun pipper. Yeah, my bad. That is the gun pipper. For some reason, he doesn't have his radar on or whatever for the missiles, but yeah.
What are you waiting for?
Press the button.
Sorry, Arun.
No, father.
This.
Got one at my six!
I have you on link. On my way, fan.
I have you on link. They must be talking about the data link, and okay, I guess why not? I'll see. It doesn't. No, fight. You could have a fighter-to-fighter data link, couldn't it? Yep.
Or between the two friendlies.
As long as I got line of sight, I see no reason why fighter-to-fighter shouldn't work. It's diving down now.
Fan, hold your course. I'm moving in behind.
Pretty sure these guys that would have been down here would have covered about 30 miles by now and be on a different country, but it's fine. Maybe they've been going around in circles.
Sher Dil, don't fire! You could hit me!
That's a real problem. We do this all the time, as you see. You have a good guy, you have a bad guy, and then you have a good guy. You have this trail effect, and it's a very good problem. You could easily fire the guard and miss this guy and hit that guy. We do it all the time. You could also fire your Sidewinder, and it initially locked for this guy, and then this guy, turns his afterburner or whatever. The missile could easily change lock onto this guy or get confused and change lock onto this guy. It happens all the time, especially with old missiles, if your gun sight's not radar guided or whatever. It's very possible. Those, I was about to say they're terrible shots, but he just nailed him, look.
No! Finish it!
There you go, I'll see. How fun. Let's go on to the next one. I haven't looked at this yet, so we'll just see. IAF Mirages. Okay, so note that we have ground control this time, so there's a ground radar, so they can see those Mirages.
Hot scramble.
We didn't see them last time.
2 GF-17s, initial vector 170 Ghazi control. 2 Indian Mirage 2000s inside Pakistan territory. Copy.
These are all real shots, which is cool.
Seat to target area.
Roger that. En route.
So it's been talked on to target by the GCI, which is all completely accurate.
शेर दिल मुझे रेडार पर नजर नहीं आ रहे पर तुम्हें ये दिखने चाहिए.
बच के नहीं जाएंगे, सर. ढूंढ लेंगे.
God, they've gone out without radar missiles again. So, I mean, this plane is pretty much built around its missiles. It has things called SD-10s, which are like the equivalent of a medium-range AMRAAM that NATO would have, and they're not using them. So they can't use... So basically what we're doing is forcing, by using these Sidewinders, we're forcing everything into a dogfight, which obviously is completely unrealistic in every way possible, but it does look sexy for a movie if everything ends in a dogfight.
I have radar contacts, 495 at flight level 1.
Oh, they've got the magic. Yeah, it's just a stupid thingy scope. It must be angels in this case. 15, I don't know what that is. Or 1S, I can't read that. It's just a stupid Hollywood scope. The reality is the MWS and the SA and the RWR and the attack radar are going to be split on separate screens. You can combine some of them, but there's nothing like this weird, silly little whatever the hell it is.
100. I have a visual. Heading away from us.
Their Mirages are being upgraded to Mirage and Mirage 2000-5s.
They've been upgraded. Okay.
2 Indian Mirages. Engaging target. 3, 2, 1, break. Going for radar lock. Good luck. Going.
That is almost a real HUD. That's got your heading tape up there. We've got the speed. We've got our alpha. We've got our Mac. I guess yes, Mac. We've got our gun pipper. We've got our target designated box. We've got our flight vector, and we've got our pitch ladder. So it is a reduced HUD from the real plane, but that is a HUD, isn't it? I haven't flown this plane for a while, so I can't remember what else it's got. But okay, good. Kudos.
Pagan.
I noticed there was no. Yes, it was simplified because there was no ranging. There was no ranging or anything like that on there. It was just a simplified idea. Mirages go funny. I don't know why these guys haven't shot these guys yet, but we're gonna have another dogfight with fuel tanks on that.
Sher Dil has Mirage 2. Hi.
Man has Mirage 1.
Again, they've got radar lock. They could easily fire their AIM-9s equivalents off and kill them. I don't know why they keep going for guns.
And fighting! Switching to iron missile. Lock! Ye le tope ka
It's got the ASE circle and a shoot sign there. Again, it's not quite, but it's got the idea there.
topa. Good hit. It is every cloud. It is RPM dropping.
That is the correct IFI, isn't it? That is the engine instrument. I can't remember the name of it. EFI or something like that. Yep, that is pretty much it, isn't it, RC? That's how it is. And his RPM is there, and his temperature is there.
Yeah, that is
Oh my God! Down.
Stay calm, fan. If automatic air restart unsuccessful, perform manual air restart.
gotta love these things they put on YouTube over the end of the videos.
He was just going into a flat spin now. It'd be interesting to see what the start procedure he did, because we've done a video on that. Right, so those two have gone over. I've quite enjoyed that, actually. There are obviously a few inaccuracies, but there are also some good things in there. And I approve of making stuff up and for a Hollywood movie. It makes it more sexy, because if you put realistic stuff, no one's going to appreciate it. Like 1% of people would actually appreciate it. So I think they're really good. The graphics were really good. The sounds were really good. And I was really chuffed with that. I found it really quite fun to watch. Anything you want to add to that, RC?
Nope, that
Right.
covers it.
Go and watch it, and I'll see you later.